Welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Kevin Banks. He is the founder and CEO of Dream Big and also Cuts for Kids. And Kevin, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me once again. It's been a while.
Hey, you know what? You're busy right now. You've got this thing is for a part-time job. I guess not even a part-time job.
Is that what we're calling it?
It's a volunteer. It's becoming pretty big, and it's August 7th is going to be a huge day at the state fairgrounds. And
yes,
tell me what. Well, first of all, just tell me a little bit about your organization again. Give Reader's Digest about it.
Sure. So Dream Big, it started. Actually, this is going on the 6th year. Dream Big is a nonprofit organization. We are focused on underprivileged and underserved youth throughout our community. One of the things, or our biggest program that we really overemphasize, is Cuts for Kids. Cuts for Kids is a program that we developed, like I said, about 6 years ago, where we prep our underprivileged youth before they go back to school. We have a bunch of excellent barbers and stylists that come out the last weekend before school starts, and they offer their services free to our community, to our kids. So we invite our kiddos out. Not only do they get free haircuts, but we also supply the kids with backpacks and school supplies. We make it really festive. We have a car show, we have youth entertainment, we feed everybody hamburgers, hot dogs, etc. But year one, when we started with the police department as a partner, we had this at the police academy, and we had about 1,200 people show up. You fast forward to today, going into year 6, we're now at the Fairgrounds Expo, New Mexico, and we average over 18,000 people that attend. We're able to serve
8,000 kids.
Yeah, it's
plus
up there.
8,000 plus kids.
Exactly. So it's really grown into something that I couldn't have ever imagined, and as well as we branched out to Texas now. So we're in Round Rock, Texas, which is right outside of Austin, and this is year 3 in Round Rock. And same thing there, we started at the police department in tandem with my brother, who's chief of police out there. We started off with about 3,000 or 4,000 people. And now this year, year number 3, we're looking at over, we were just talking about it before we went on. We've expanded now to about 30,000 people in attendance. So it's just really taken on this snowball effect, if you will. There's such a need. We have no parameters, no restrictions when it comes to the organization and the program. If you're a single parent, you may be strapped income-wise and you need a little help before the start of school. So coming out, having your child get a free haircut, if it's a little boy, if it's a little girl, getting her hair styled, getting the backpack and school supplies, it really helps out mom and dad before the kiddos go to school. And that haircut, I just got a haircut last week, and it helps with self-esteem. So it really has.
Well, I appreciate you, stepping up to my show. I guess you got the memo. So.
I knew I was coming on, so I had to make sure I had the fade. My barber, his name is Z Zarius. He has a wonderful barbershop, and they actually step up every year and come out and help support. But truly, the program is something that I'm proud of, and we're able to impact a lot of kids. And we'll just see where things go as we continue to gain support throughout the community, and more and more people find out about the program. It just keeps growing.
If I'm correct, there's 2 times. There's like at 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Is that?
No, actually, there is. What I do. A lot of people don't realize this is the public. We have a time window of 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Prior to the public being in, I actually have that first hour for what's called the Cops for Kids program, as well as represent the New Mexico Autism Society, where the New Mexico Autism Society comes out with their kiddos, and they're able to get their haircuts free, get their backpacks before the crowds get in. Because as you know, children, or if you don't know, children with autism at times, don't do well with crowds and large crowds and noises and whatnot. So I wanted to make sure that they came in first and they were able to take part in the festivities before everybody comes in, because it is chaos. It's organized chaos, but there's a lot of people and a lot of different things going on.
A big thing, we got it up there on the screen right there. It's Sunday, August 7th.
Sunday, August 7th.
10 to 3 p.m. I thought it was two sessions. I thought, but you're going to get all those people in at one time. I tell you what, you better get there early, right?
Yes.
Because it's going to be filled up.
That's right.
A great location, state fair, expos. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, Dan Morning and the crew over at Expo, they really open up the facilities and really work with us to host this event each year. And it's been an amazing couple of years there at Expo. The venue's almost set up perfect for it, because if you go into Via Hispana, you have what is the vendor booths, is what we call them, in the back of Via Hispana, and those double as our barbershops. So it works well. Then you have the main stage there where we have our youth entertainment and our backpack distribution. So the venue is awesome at Expo. We love it. It's hot. Each year it's hot, so be prepared for that if you come out.
Well, I mean, the backpacks are something. I was looking at, I mean, it's worth your while to go. I mean, it's the savings of between 100 and to 200 bucks, if I'm correct in that. You
Absolutely.
might explain a little bit of what all that goes into that backpack.
Sure. You know, we have great partners throughout the city, some great retail support that help us with the backpacks in terms of getting the equipment in those backpacks. And we also have TBN, who does an awesome job of helping us collect backpacks. They fund the backpacks that we receive, that we're able to fill. But, you know, the cost of school supplies today is super expensive. I have 4 kiddos, and trying to get them ready for school, it costs a lot. So each child that comes home with that school supply list, mom and dad's looking at that, and it's overwhelming. So the cost, we estimated to be between $150 and $250, depending on the school age, the school grade. But what we do is we get...
So you divide it up in the...
We do.
Okay.
So we have an elementary school backpack, we have a middle school backpack, and we have a high school backpack. And in those...
How about graduates? Do you have any graduate backpacks that, you know, maybe can fit into...
You know...
12 of you's always looking, you know, our guys are kind of, you know, they're still learning too.
They're still learning. You know, we're going to have to talk about that. Maybe we do a different program for graduates. I think they're more concerned with the food. They want to show up and just eat. So, yeah, we'll take care of them food-wise. But the backpacks, you know, we have a short list. We don't want people to be confused and come with the expectation that we're going to fulfill that entire list. That kids
Good
are,
point. I mean, because it's not. Hey, you're limited on the suppliers that come that are helping. Be thankful for what you can get.
Exactly.
Get a free haircut. Get whatever you can do, and then you have to make the difference. So.
That's right, because you know we always have somebody that comes with that expectation of, hey, we're going to have a full backpack. Our kids are going to be ready. They don't need to go shopping. Please don't come with that expectation. It's a short list, and we try and, like I said, separate. We have an elementary school list, and we try and get the basics. As long as people are donating, we'll be able to do this, but you know, it's getting more and more difficult as we grow. It's tougher and tougher to get more products. So, I mean, donations and all of those type of things are more than welcome. The other thing I want to touch on is, you know, we talk about the haircuts, we talk about the backpack and school supplies, but there's Pima Medical Institute comes out every year as well, and they offer free medical exams, basic medical exams for the kiddos, lice checks, of course, vision, dental, BMI, those type of things, which is awesome. And in the past, Pima has been able to identify, you know, small issues and submit referrals to the families where they can go and have their child checked out.
Well, that's awesome, because, you know, as we all know, and especially with you and I, since we're upcoming senior citizens coming out. I guess I'm more
yeah.
senior, and you're
well,
still.
I'm the junior senior.
You're still in the middle of the pack, but as we both know, you know, any time you can get a checkup, take it, because you know, with all the things that are happening, I mean, you never know. I mean, right. You could be really healthy in something. If you don't catch something real quick, then it could affect your whole family.
That's right. Just a simple checkup would, I mean, you may discover something that could ultimately lead to something bigger. So, I mean, it's a cool thing that Pima does each year by coming out and offering that service. I think it's amazing. They do an amazing job. So again, that's another perk of coming to the event for the youth of our city to take advantage of. So, I mean, my goal and my mission initially was to make sure that the kids and our youth are taken care of, but to make it not so stagnant either. That's why we have the car show, we have the entertainment, we have the food, there'll be DJs, mascots. So just really stimulation overload for the community, for the youth. I wanted them to come out and have a great time while they're there. I mean, you're going to be there for a couple of hours. Why not have fun while you're there? So snow cones, etc., will be there. But really,
I was going to say, you said food, and I'm saying, and it's going to be hot, so I'm sure you've taken care of the. You know,
we'll have water and sodas, and yeah, I mean, you name it. We try and make sure that it's there.
And probably a great sponsor is Frito-Lay. I mean, I don't know where that would come in, but I'm just saying, I'm sure that
something about Frito-Lay.
You might even get a potato chips or something like that.
You might. You know, that's the company I work for, so we better have some chips out there, right?
Right. Well, even if I go out there, I better have some chips, you know. So
I'll see what I can do. I'll try and help you out there.
But you know, again, it's on a Sunday. You know, it's 9 o'clock. Starts at 9 what and.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, excuse me. And at 9 o'clock, the younger kids
Correct.
are coming in. So it's going to be a frenzy. You know, I mean, it's going to be.
Each year it is. And I can tell you, you know, we have great partners with Adelante as well. Adelante has done an amazing job. And again, our organization, we love to open our arms to different organizations because everybody's mission that works in nonprofit is to help serve the community. So I figured through our organization, no matter what we're doing, we want Big Brothers Big Sisters, Adelante, these other organizations to come out as well. We don't charge these organizations to come out because they're trying to reach the same demographic that we're drawing. So Adelante, being a tremendous partner these past couple of years, Adelante has helped streamline the check-in process because, of course, as you know, when parents and their children come, we have to register them, make sure we have the waiver and release. They sign in. In the past, it's been about a 2.5 hour to a 3 hour wait just to get in. Since Adelante has been there, we're able to streamline that process through some of the systems and processes that they utilize. So that 2.5, 3 hour wait is now no longer than an hour per se.
So this is your 6th year, and
Correct.
so with you know, and your numbers are increasing every year. But so what was your? I mean, going back, let's just go back 6 years.
Okay.
You know, what was your thoughts when you first started this? This what really was it? This was kind of something that kind of was. You just took over because somebody else had kind of started the idea, and all of a sudden you took it and saw the value. I mean, is that
somewhat? Yes. I always want to give credit to, you know,
right.
where ideas come from and whatnot. I can tell you 3D Cuts, along with the city of Albuquerque. I had a partner in Luis Hernandez. We all came together initially. We're talking 6 years ago, and we sat at the table. And I know 3D Cuts was on the verge of doing a documentary. 3D Cuts, if Derek and his other brothers, there's triplets, they were going to do a documentary, and they wanted to do something for the community, and they were going to open up their shop and give free haircuts before the kids went back to school. So myself and Luis Hernandez at the time came in, and we got that idea and kind of put it on steroids. I got with my brother, who was deputy chief of APD at the time, and said, hey, what do you think about this idea? Kind of shared it with him and told him this would actually be a great opportunity to involve law enforcement and bridge that gap between the youth and law enforcement. So that way we have that community interaction with law enforcement officers at the event at the same time. He thought it was a wonderful idea, and that's why we initially opened up this program at the police academy. So there was a few individuals that were involved. Like I said, I will always give credit to 3D Cuts. I mean, those guys are amazing. Their shop, they do wonderful things. But, you know, as time goes on, I wanted to continue. And, you know, people get busy and things happen in life. And, you know, 6 years later, here I am and surround myself with different partners and different organizations. And we're just trying to continue to grow this with the same mission, is to serve our community, serve our youth. So that will not change.
Well, Kevin, we're going to go to Dave and Buster's Top 10 Plays of the Week and come back and talk more about Dream Big and Cuts for Kids.
J.R. Giddens threw it away. 6th turnover by New Mexico. All the way, Gibson, finger roll on the reverse layup. A little smooch out the window and good. And now Jonathan Gibson with 13. And a New Mexico. Granger to DeReese, beats the shot clock for 3. Wow. Got it! Twine and down, and DeReese Gary. Inside, and Wendell McKillis with a jam. So what a 4 for the free throw line as Giddens, a little crossover reverse layup, off the window and good. J.R. Giddens. Seconds to play. Giddens in the lane. Giddens wild. No, the putback. The big fella, Alex Kirk. Got a 2-on-1. To get in, put it down. Back-to-back plays and then another steal. 3-on. DeVries, he's had the hot hand. No, put back.
Oh, wow.
Give me that, says Deshaun Delaney.
How many times has Deshaun done that?
Monster jam from DD. And there it is. That's why we waited.
ProView Networks would like to thank Hi and Heather Roberts for their generous support of our mission to help raise the profile of New Mexico's youth and to serve the communities that support them. Hi and Heather Roberts are proud members of the American National Family of Companies and serve to provide life, health, auto, and home insurance to people like you.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
Get into the game. Garden Schwartz Team Sales features fine products and apparel from Wilson, Schutt Sports, Speedline, and Russell Athletics. We offer custom embroidery and screen printing services for all of your school or club needs, from team uniforms to school letter jackets. Specializing in all sports and serving all communities, from big schools to small schools, from up north to down south, or all points in between, Garden Schwartz Team Sales has the products and professional services you'll need to be your best. For great prices, friendly staff, and quality products, call Garden Schwartz Team Sales today at 1-800-880-7767. That's 1-800-880-7767. Since 1939, Garden Schwartz Team Sales is a proud supporter of New Mexico youth athletics.
Don't sacrifice quality or flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride delivers the best tasting barbecue chicken and ribs with the fastest drive-thru in the whole city. Plus, Albuquerque Magazine has awarded Golden Pride for having the best tasting breakfast burrito in town. For a great meal without the wait, come see us at any one of our 4 locations or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride, home of Albuquerque's #1 breakfast burrito.
Welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest is Kevin Beck, founder and CEO of Dream Big and Cuts for Kids. And give me another couple times, and I might have that down pretty good.
That's pretty good. It's flowing well. I like that.
It's hard to make you look good, but I am doing a great job of doing that. So.
It's hard trying to look good sitting next to you, Steve.
But with that being said, your organization truthfully doesn't work without volunteers. I mean, let's just be down straight to it. What do people? How do they get involved with you? How do they? What do you expect out of them? And do they have a choice of what they can do?
They actually do. We've been blessed with a kind of a link on our website that volunteers or potential volunteers can go to. And we have a breakdown for Cuts for Kids, the event itself, on what you can volunteer in terms of areas that you can volunteer in, the times, those type of things, which is new. This is the first time we're utilizing this. We're using this in Texas as well as in Albuquerque. But they can go to the website if you're interested in volunteering, which is dreambigabq.org. dreambigabq.org, and we also have cutsforkids.org, which is KUTZ4KIDZ.org. And go on to the volunteer tab, and the link will take you kind of where you need to be to volunteer, not only for Cuts for Kids, but any events that we have going on in the future. you'll be able to go to that portal and it'll guide you on what you need to do.
You know, again, going back, you know, this is the 6th year that you've done, and, you know, each year you try to get, you know, we've talked about it, the numbers growing each year, which is great, and sponsors, and, you know, so where do you see this going? And then, or before you answer that question, is what are you going to do different this year than you did last year? Because every year, it's kind of like, you know, being a coach. I mean, you look at it, you go back, and there's some things you didn't like last year. Something went well, and maybe you got some new ideas for this year.
You know, the main focus this year was to be more efficient. We're always trying to be conscious.
So you took that with the registration and
correct. That's that was one of the main focuses, as well as making sure that you know, we have enough supplies and book backpacks for the kiddos, which year number 6 we hadn't ran out yet. So that's been a definite blessing. We always want to expand. We want to make it more exciting for the kids. You know, last year we had a live band. This year we're looking at doing another live band, just having kind of more entertainment that kind of goes across the bridge in terms of making sure everybody's entertained.
Besides getting some, you get a concert too. I mean,
yeah, you get a little concert, absolutely. We have Nicole Larson. She does a phenomenal job with her company. She gets all the youth entertainment, and like I said, we implemented a band and whatnot. So yeah, we're definitely trying to go all out. Yeah, Frank Chavis and Albert Muniz, who are part of the Duke's Car Club, they do a phenomenal time with the car show. This year.
Yeah, the car show.
We also have.
They gotta love that. I mean, that's.
Oh, it's.
I mean, I've gone to, you know, I've been to Saggio's, not Fastino's. They have it up in Fastino's up on there, but it's pretty interesting. People take a lot of pride in their cars.
They do.
And you sit there and it's amazing, you know. And then, you know, for guys like myself to go back and reminisce about, you know,
those old cars.
Well, I saw it develop. I mean, you know, I mean, I didn't see the Model T or anything like that, but I'm just saying, you know, but my family did come in on the horse buggy, so I have a little, you know, it goes back, it goes back a few, but it's neat to see the evolution of the cars.
It really is. Duke's, the car club, they do a great job in bringing cars from the 60s, 50s, etc. You know, I'm from Valley Gardens in the South Valley, as well as by way of East San Jose. My big thing was lowriders, 64 Impala Super Sport, love it. I actually own one now, but I love seeing the Impalas, those kind of cars, because that's, you know, that's my era, that's where I'm from, and seeing the lowriders and whatnot. So it's kind of cool, and it's fun seeing the kiddos look at those cars. Cause,
you know, speaking of lowriders, you know, coming to Albuquerque from Clovis on a basketball scholarship. Central, you know, people don't even realize how, you know, that was the main thing to do on Central was cruise, and I'll never forget, you know, I wasn't even cruising. I was trying to find someplace on the hill, and I was going, man, what is this traffic going on? And if you go back, I mean, the freeways weren't in like they were now, and, you know, a lot of things are a lot different than they were. And I'm on the street, and I look over, and I'm trying not, you know, here you know, not to be racist or anything. I'm a white guy and predominantly Spanish culture, and I'm from Clovis, and, you know, there's a little bit of a culture difference between. I've outgrown that, but sure. I'm just saying, I'm looking over to my left, and this car just starts jumping up and down and up and down, and I didn't know if it was like they were, because my car couldn't do nothing. I mean, what was I offending them? Why are you on the street?
Oh, man.
I just kept I just like looking out of my corner of the eye, and I rolled my window up, and locked the doors and everything.
No.
That's a true story. I'm like, I'm sitting there, and then now it's just the way it is. I was just down, you know, we're downtown right now, and you'll see the people, you know, more now. It's more of the sound boxes. Who's got the biggest sound box?
The bass coming out the car.
Right. It's like who you can hear the wheels and the cars vibrating just because of the sound coming out.
Right. You know what? It's a cultural thing. I love lowriders. If you don't like lowriders, you're not from Albuquerque. But they're classy vehicles. It's an art. It's a culture, and it's a part of me. And I love featuring that at the show. Again, the kids go crazy over those cars, and to see him talk with the guys. The guys are great. They explain the history of the car, where the car is from. Those guys they're really knowledgeable.
Like I said, and they have even stuff. I mean, I went to one. They have stuff written about the car.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it's
Yeah. The lowrider culture, I think, is not to speak on that and open up this topic, but I think it's misunderstood. There's some great individuals within the lowrider culture and the lowrider community that, man, they do a lot of great things. And I can say that about a lot of the car clubs here in Albuquerque and throughout New Mexico. They really are in the best interest of the community, and they want to see the youth succeed and whatnot. And you know, the cars are a passion for the lowrider community and
for anybody. You know what? Because you go, like I said, you know, I had a '67 Chevy, and I go and I'll be walking around. There'll be one then my sister had a '57. You know, I mean, I'm just saying those are pretty. Those are the
classic
cars, and the Impala, I mean, and things like that. And so,
well, the car show, the kiddos love it, mom and dad love it, grandma and grandpa love it. It reaches everybody, all generations. So that's why I have it in place.
The other day I was just driving, and I was in the Northeast Heights, and they just wave at you, and they come out, and you know, everybody's just looking at them, and then you can just see the people I was with, their mind. Oh, I remember. You know,
takes them
back, and you in those memories you can't. You do now. You got. You know, you look at all the cars now. They all look. It doesn't matter if it's a Mercedes or I mean,
they look the same.
They're all the same. I mean, there's not much big difference, but to see the car evolve to where it's at now, so it's pretty cool.
Indeed, but. Yeah, so the car show, going back to your original question, that's something that's getting bigger. We have more attendees for that. We have, hopefully, all law enforcement agencies are going to be represented, Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department, Albuquerque Police Department, as well as the state police, which have been great supporters. And through that, you know, just making sure that we bridge that gap, especially nowadays. We want to make sure that the kids understand that not all officers are bad people. So they're able to interact.
You know what? That's big right now.
It really is.
I mean, and talked. You know, we know we were loud, but I'll tell you what. This racial thing's it's serious. And I tell you what, I didn't even think about the implications with our younger people. What's I mean, because everybody has fears.
Sure, and you know, the stigma has always been there that, you know, hey, we're driving down the street, there's a police officer. Oh, sit up straight, buckle up.
Yes, sir, no, sir.
Exactly, right? So the thing that I want the kids to experience is that, you know, Officer Jane is actually a good person. She has a family and she's doing a job that she loves. Officer Joe, he's a great guy and he's doing a job that he loves, and he's approachable and so on and so forth. So again, starting this 6 years ago, in my mind, it's like, hey, we need to bridge that gap. Here we go. Let's fast forward to today. We need it more than ever. Sure, there's bad apples, and, you know, again, not to talk on that, but goodness.
Another step with that, Kevin, is, and it took me a while to grasp it, and we're all, you know, we're all human beings, and we're all, but policemen have to enforce rules.
Sure.
And they're enforcing rules they may or may not agree with or disagree with. Okay. Sure. And they have to make judgments, and they're just doing their job. That's what they do, and we're fortunate that overall it's a great, compared to any other country. You know, you look at all the things that happen overseas,
right?
And we don't have as much as that here.
Yeah, it's definitely different. You know, the one thing that Alan's doing over in Texas, being chief of police in Round Rock, he does a junior police academy. So the kiddos are allowed to come in. They go to the different departments and they learn what each department does. They get to be side by side with the law enforcement officers and kind of see what they do on a daily basis, so they get a better understanding of what they go through. And again, it's starting when they're young. So their mentality as they grow up, they know a little bit better what that police officer does for a living. They have a better understanding, they have a better relationship. But it's all in building that relationship young and early. Now again, there are some bad apples out there, and hopefully we have.
Well, they're always in everything.
They're in everything.
It
They're in
doesn't
my
matter
job,
what
they're-
religion you're in. If you really went across the board, politicians.
Sure.
I mean, there's some people out there that shouldn't be there.
Sure.
But if you look at the majority of the people,
Mm-hmm.
they're out for one deal, and that's just being a great citizen.
That's right, and that's where we're trying to bridge that gap now. That's what Alan's doing in Round Rock, Texas. That's what we're doing through Cuts for Kids here and in Texas, and hopefully we can continue to grow. Where do I see this going? You go back to that question that you had.
Well, just hold that off, and we're going to come back.
come
and we'll
back to
talk
that?
more back to
Sounds
about
good.
that.
All right.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring.
Thank you. We're never having kids.
I love it here.
We are never moving to the suburbs.
We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, talk to State Farm agent Michelle Rudolph or Marty Size in Albuquerque.
ProView Networks would like to thank Hi and Heather Roberts for their generous support of our mission to help raise the profile of New Mexico's youth and to serve the communities that support them. Hi and Heather Roberts are proud members of the American National Family of Companies and serve to provide life, health, auto, and home insurance to people like you.
Are you sure we should take this billboard down?
People find out State Farm does car loans as well as they do insurance. Our bank is through.
Good point. Grab an edge.
Look, there's two guys on the State Farm Borrow Better banking sign.
No, for real, there's two dudes on the State Farm
Borrow Better banking sign.
Gentlemen, please get down from the State Farm Borrow Better banking sign. Phil, get the hose.
Okay, he's getting the hose.
All right, let's go.
Want to borrow better? Contact State Farm agents Marty Size and Michelle Bermudez about a car loan that can save you hundreds.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
Get into the game. Garden Schwartz Team Sales features fine products and apparel from Wilson, Schutz Sports, Speedline, and Russell Athletics. We offer custom embroidery and screen printing services for all of your school or club needs, from team uniforms to school letter jackets. Specializing in all sports and serving all communities, from big schools to small schools, from up north to down south, or all points in between, Garden Schwartz Team Sales has the products and professional services you'll need to be your best. For great prices, friendly staff, and quality products, call Garden Schwartz Team Sales today at 1-800-880-7767. That's 1-800-880-7767. Since 1939, Garden Schwartz Team Sales is a proud supporter of New Mexico youth athletics.
Don't sacrifice quality or flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride delivers the best tasting barbecue chicken and ribs with the fastest drive-thru in the whole city. Plus, Albuquerque Magazine has awarded Golden Pride for having the best tasting breakfast burrito in town. For a great meal without the wait, come see us at any one of our 4 locations or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride, home of Albuquerque's #1 breakfast burrito.
Welcome back to Steve Davis Show. Special guest is Kevin Banks, founder and CEO of Dream Big and Cuts for Kids, and I already forgot what we were going to talk about. So you got to remind me that. Help me out.
I'll help you out.
You got me on a different subject between the deal, and my mind is not smart enough to figure do two things.
I'm here to help you out, though.
Okay, that's why I come. That's why I'm bringing it back. So
just saying.
You just pick up on the thought that you had, and I'll ad lib from there. How's that?
All right. So to remind you, because I know your mind is full of brilliance, but where I'm going to take Dream Big and Cuts for Kids, where I see this going, you have different cities, different organizations, kind of what we're talking about. They want to see the expansion of Cuts for Kids in their cities and their communities because they see the need. So hopefully, and you know, it's God's will and where this goes, but I would love to see this in major cities as well as, you know, small communities. And you have Clovis, New Mexico. You have these other small towns that need programs like Cuts for Kids where we can go out and help those communities, help those kiddos get ready for school and, you know, prep them.
So basically, this is just a model that could be on a national scale.
Absolutely.
Is that a simple thing? And that's something that's, you know, we're similar with ProView Networks, not to take the thunder away from Dream Big, but is that we started that same way. It was like,
Sure.
you know, when people are, you know, are always calling, how can you do 500 games in a year and with no equipment, no deal, and things like that, and then all of a sudden, over time, more and more people get involved with it. It's
Right.
kind of fun. It's fun, and it's it's exciting. It's instead of knocking the door and why are you here is why aren't you knocking on my door?
Exactly, exactly. And I want to make sure that the doors continue to knock, but we're able to answer and serve. The only reason or the only way we can do that is continued support. Something that I explain to different organizations that want to help support Dream Big and Cuts for Kids is I don't want to be the guy that knocks on the door and I have my hand out saying, hey, I need. I want to come to a Steve Davis and ProView and say, Steve, I want y'all to be a partner. I want Cuts for Kids to be your program. I want you to take your associates and the people in the ProView family and come out and help support and put a backpack on a child before they get ready for school. So that's something that you're proud of each year and something that you look forward to. That's how I want organizations to approach this organization and to approach this program as it's theirs as well, because this is a community-wide program. It's not just Dream Big, it's not just Kevin Banks. It's the city of Albuquerque. We all come together and we make sure that our kiddos are prepped and ready for school.
Great point. I mean, you're saying this is bigger than yourself, and it, you know, maybe in the beginning it was maybe a little bit about, you know, I'm just
Sure.
saying everybody, we all have egos and deal, but then same thing with ProView Networks. I thought, you know, my thought was just for my own selfish reasons. I didn't have my high school games up.
Mm-hmm.
They lost for some reason. I don't have any history of any of the games that so I can infatuate how great I was, okay? Because there's no proof if I wasn't that good. But that was the intentions of it, to see it, you know, come to where it's at right now, where it's similar to what you're saying. Is you know, when we do when we first started, it was why are you here?
Sure.
And now it's why aren't you here? And it takes funds, it takes things, it takes organization skills. But it's great to know that the community supports you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's awesome to have the phone ring each year asking the question, when is Cuts for Kids ready to go? You know, we're here with the support, we're here with the in-kind donations, we're here with the man hours, so on and so forth. It's an awesome feeling. To your point, I mean, before I'm going out begging, knocking on doors that I had to before I can establish those relationships. But as we continue to grow, I'm going to have to get back out and solicit more support, more volunteers, etc.
Well, and it's similar to, you know, Jeff Symbieta with the New Mexico Gildan Bowl. I mean, if you look, you know, this is his 11th year. I mean, it gets easier. This is your 6th year. You know, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. They get a little bit easier. You get more. One, you have a system that you can that works.
Sure.
And even though that it works, and then social media is changing. I mean, how big has that changed in the last 6 years?
Exactly.
So you can get to more people quicker just by twittering something out. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you know, we have, again, I'm going to bring up Adelante. They already have a database, right? They've been doing this a lot longer than I have, reaching the demographic that needs that support. So in getting creative through Adelante, what we do is try and tap into each other's database because we're trying to help out that same demographic. So it's become easier in that way to reach people, reach more people, target the folks that truly need the support. And I'm not saying there's not a lot to do, but or that don't, excuse me. But you know, stuff like that, being creative as we grow and as we learn, it does make things a little bit easier. But you know, it's always going to be an obstacle here, an obstacle there, in order to grow. Like I said, as the numbers grow, we got to grow. We got to kind of change and tweak things. The lines were long, the lines took forever, but now, you know, streamlining the processes, it's helped out. It's made the experience a lot better for the attendees. So, you know, things like, I'm going to bring Texas into the subject again, but being out in Texas, this being year 3, we've learned so much. But, you know, we've teamed up with Round Rock ISD, which is the equivalent to the Albuquerque public school system. Round Rock ISD came in and said, we want to help. We have an organization that we work with called PI, Partners in Education. They give out backpacks each year. They don't do it on a festive or a grand scale. They have a list of kiddos. They reach out to those kiddos. They come in, get their backpack, school supplies, and then they're gone. Well, with Round Rock ISD and PI, they said, hey, we want to team up with your program and the Round Rock Police Department. And gosh, you guys are doing a phenomenal job by making this festive. That's where we were struggling, is getting the school supplies and the backpacks. They had that resource, so we just combined resources and it just exploded. So our event got a steroid injection, and now we're able to serve so many more people. So many more people not just are getting backpacks through ISD, through Round Rock ISD and the PI program. Now they're getting the medical exams and the haircuts. So we're able to give those youth a jump start before going back to school in a bigger way.
And you know, Texas is, how do I say this, is if somebody's doing a good job, then everybody else wants to take step. And
sure.
I mean, this thing could be, I mean, as you're probably seeing it, you know, you want to be nationwide, but you know, you could just in Texas and New Mexico, it could be just, I mean, there's so, I mean, I always look at San Antonio, and San Antonio has as many has many high schools as APS has, I mean, MMA has in the whole state of New Mexico. They got, I think, 140 high schools just in the city of San Antonio. So I can't even imagine how many high schools are in the state of New Mexico. Texas.
I know Round Rock alone has 7 major high schools. That's just Round Rock, which is right outside of Austin. Round Rock High School, we're hosting Cuts for Kids on August 14th. The population of the school itself during the school year is 4,400. So that's how massive that school is.
It's about twice as big as New Mexico school, you know.
Exactly.
One of the biggest, the 5A schools probably. So.
That's right. So, you know, I mean, bringing up the whole point about Texas is I want the same kind of relationship here in Albuquerque with APS. We can actually target those kiddos that really need the help through some of the programming that APS has, and make sure that they're taken care of as well. But it's partners like that I'm looking for to make sure that we continue to grow and we serve the community that needs it.
I'll tell you, you know, it's time consuming, you know. Isn't it funny, like you can go back 6 years, each week, what was the magic that happened in each week, and you think as soon as it's over that all of a sudden now it's here, and like you're you know, and you've had the whole year, but it seems like you're scrambling, and like you know, it's like, you know, you got 2 weeks, this thing's here, and you're always, is this company going to come through, or is this, because you're making, you know, you're out here making promises of, you know, expectations of, and you got to be, and you're very good at it, but you know, it's hard when somebody says they're going to do something. It's hard to keep secret sometimes.
Yeah, right? The follow through, make sure somebody's following through and kind of holding up their end of the bargain. You know, it's funny you said that. Just yesterday, in fact. You know, you reach that point when you're doing anything, getting an event together, and you're depending on other people to come through, and it's stressful. You start questioning yourself, is this something that I want to continue to do? It happens, we're human. Every year without fail. Yesterday I get a phone call while I'm sitting there at the desk, and it's a lady that calls, single mom. She said that she had called some other organizations, some national organizations, and she was asking for support for her child. She had just lost her job. And she was explaining to me how the people on the phone were so rude that she couldn't get answers. And she was discouraged. She said somebody had referred her to me and the Cuts for Kids program through Dream Big. And, I talked to her just like I talk to anybody, and encouraged her and said, absolutely, you're more than welcome to come to the event. The thing that she asked, what do I need to bring? Do I need to bring proof of income? Those type of things. And I told her absolutely not. When you come to Cuts for Kids, all I ask is that you have your parent, legal guardian, and the child must be present. I don't want red tape. I don't want this to be so painful to go through in order to attend the event.
Or embarrassing.
Or embarrassing, exactly.
It's not,
Exactly.
it's supposed to be.
We all need help.
Right.
Want it to be fun, come on in and enjoy. So as I'm talking to this lady and she's explaining, the hard time she was having at these other organizations, and I explained to her what we do and what the expectation is and how festive this is. She stopped me and she said, I have to say, this is great and you've been kind, and she thanked me. And again, it's not about me, it's about everybody that helps put this event on. But, I got off the phone with that lady and it really set me back and it brought me back down, and it helped me remember this is why we continue to do this. I don't want to say this is why we continue to do this event each year. Regardless of the stress and the pressure and the doors that do slam on your face or the people that don't come through, at the end of the day, God has a blessing for not just me, but for everybody. And this event is a blessing. And if it's able to help individuals like this lady that called yesterday, or the conversations I've had in the past 5 years with other individuals and how it helped them, that's all that matters to me. And it builds my strength to continue on. And hopefully I can continue to grow this, so I'll have more people that I can talk to that were able to help out a little bit prior to the school year. But that conversation yesterday really
made your whole all not aggravations, but all the things
that just disappeared. The stress level, everything else just came back down, because that's why I continue to do this. That's why we all come together and make these things happen, just to help that mom out, to help that dad out, to help that family out. And I'm going to continue to do it. People will say no as far as supporting. There'll be volunteers that say they don't want to do it, but that's fine. But because there's a lot of other people that say yes, and it's those yeses that help us continue to grow and help us build on what we have going.
I have the same feeling. Anytime that because everybody, what's great about being a human being is, I'm going to hold that thought right now. We'll come back and we'll talk more about Dream Big and everything that's happening in your organization.
Get into the game. Garden Schwartz Team Sales features fine products and apparel from Wilson, Schutt Sports, Speedline, and Russell Athletics. We offer custom embroidery and screen printing services for all of your school or club needs, from team uniforms to school letter jackets. Specializing in all sports and serving all communities, from big schools to small schools, from up north to down south, or all points in between, Garden Schwartz Team Sales has the products and professional services you'll need to be your best. For great prices, friendly staff, and quality products, call Garden Schwartz Team Sales today at 1-800-880-7767. That's 1-800-880-7767. Since 1939, Garden Schwartz Team Sales is a proud supporter of New Mexico youth athletics.
Don't sacrifice quality or flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride delivers the best tasting barbecue chicken and ribs with the fastest drive-thru in the whole city. Plus, Albuquerque Magazine has awarded Golden Pride for having the best tasting breakfast burrito in town. For a great meal without the wait, come see us at any one of our 4 locations or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride, home of Albuquerque's #1 breakfast burrito.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
ProView Networks would like to thank Hi and Heather Roberts for their generous support of our mission to help raise the profile of New Mexico's youth and to serve the communities that support them. Hi and Heather Roberts are proud members of the American National Family of Companies and serve to provide life, health, auto, and home insurance to people like you.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer. beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
Are you sure we should take this billboard down?
People find out State Farm does car loans as well as they do insurance. Our bank is through.
Good point. Grab an edge.
Look, there's two guys on the State Farm Borrow Better banking sign.
No, for real, there's two dudes on the State Farm
Borrow Better banking sign. Gentlemen, please get down from the State Farm Borrow Better banking sign. Phil, get the hose.
Okay, he's getting the hose.
All right, let's go.
Want to borrow better? Contact State Farm agents Marty Size and Michelle Bermudez about a car loan that can save you hundreds.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring.
Thank you. We're never having kids.
Some of it here.
We are never moving to the suburbs.
We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, talk to State Farm agent Michelle Rudolph or Marty Size in Albuquerque.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have Kevin Banks here, CEO and founder of Dream Big and Cuts for Kids, and you know, a good life. I mean, Albuquerque High, former Albuquerque High, you had, you know, been very blessed.
I have. I cannot complain.
Got some, you know, had your son got to play in the pit, and that's got to be a memorable deal. And played for Cleveland.
I didn't even get a chance to play in the pit, and he got a chance to play in the pit.
Well, you know, somebody's got to live up. I mean, there's got to be an athlete in the family.
He's a Banks. It just skipped me. I have an excuse though. You know, the knee injury. Well, you know.
Well, we can all live on, you know, we can all live on our past, but it was, you know, what an experience that was for you. I know it was, you know, I know you were. It's funny to watch parents and kids because the kids are out there just doing what they do, play basketball, and they're part of the deal. And the parents are like, they're just so uptight. They're just.
It felt like I was playing.
No, you were like, I mean, you know, you looked white. I mean, it was like I was like, man, it's okay, man. It's okay, man. It's all right, man. Win or lose, it's going to be okay.
You were telling me that,
and I'm just saying because he'll remember that experience. You know, I mean, sometime, you know, 20 years from now, when you're interviewing your son about, you know, his biggest experience in his life was playing in the pit.
You know, what an amazing experience and what a great story to have, to be able to say, you know, you made the state tournament your senior year. Unfortunately, they didn't take the title, but, I mean, they had a great run. They had a great season, a phenomenal season. You know,
You know, that's what's so, you know, crazy. You know, it's, you're right, he had a successful season this season. I mean, people that say if they only win the blue trophy, that's not a success. And I tell you, it's priceless to have that experience.
It is.
That very few people get.
You know, those guys will have a brotherhood where they can always share those memories of, you know, with Cleveland. They were able to, in December, they went to California and played in that tournament, which it's a great tournament. They get to play with top competition out there. They got to see some of the nationally ranked teams. Then they come back and they play in the Metro tournament and win that. And then, you know, to have a great second half season, going to the state tournament and had the run that they did. They just had a blast. And I think Coach Smith did a great job with those boys. And it was fun to watch it every step of the way, you know, going to the games and just seeing each individual player progress from start to finish. That was kind of neat to see.
You know, actually from the 9th grade up to the deal.
Exactly.
And you know, Cleveland, you know, you had to have patience. I mean, I'm kind of letting everybody, when a team or a program, let's just say a program is solid from the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, well, somebody's not going to get a play.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
And it's just the way life is. But if people work hard, and I remember, talking with you, it was you know, your son was like, well, should I play or I'm not? Is it, you know, is it worth going and working 3 to 4 hours a day and doing all this stuff? And
you remember he was at Volcano Vista before
right.
he transferred, so that was even more difficult coming into a program that was already established with their set players. So that was difficult for him, and you know, he did have that time period where he got hurt. You know, he had the hip injury. And he was frustrated, you know, it was a whole playing time thing. Yeah. And he wanted to give up. And we've all been there. You get those moments where you don't want to play anymore. And then he started growing. He started missing the game. The thing he always wanted to do was ultimately go over to Cleveland, his home district, and go play. So we had a meeting with Coach Smith, and Coach Smith said, you know, I don't really take some kiddos outside the program to come in mid-season and so on. Or I guess it wasn't mid-season, it was off-season. And Coach just saw something in Damien. And he said, you know, he's really respectful, and he thought he'd be a good fit in the program. And, you know, fast forward through that season, he was an integral part in making that season successful.
It was, and it was a slow start. I mean, he worked. So again, the value, you can't put a price tag on what your son learned. No. That's once the umbilical cord's gone, which is that happened, that he's out there, he understands that, hey, you know, you work hard and you believe in yourself and you discipline yourself, good things are going to happen.
Sure.
And I think that's what athletics does with all coaches, with all programs and all the thing is that it's, you know, it's hard to be a great athlete.
It is.
You have to work every day to do it.
You have to. You got to put the time in. You got to put the practice in. You know, those old stories of, you know, Magic and Michael and Larry, how they talk about, you know, being first and last in the gym when it comes to practice. I truly believe that. You have to put in the time, especially now with a lot of these high school athletes. It's easy to sit inside and play the video games. It's easy to sit there on your phone and be on social media. It's hard to get outside and go shoot the ball, to go pass the ball, to go hit the ball. They need to take that time to go hone their skills. A lot of these athletes nowadays, they have specialized training, those that take it serious. They go out of state and get training. They go out of state and get that competition level that's a little bit higher maybe in some areas, and then come back and they're really successful. But not everybody does that.
Well, the other thing too, the numbers. There's more numbers out, and there's less spot. There's not like universities. There's not more universities being developed and built. I mean, it's a finite. So the level of competition gets better, and the ones that do make it on any scale. This shows their preservation. And if you look later on in life, they have more success in whatever they do.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I'm gonna jump subject on you. I was just thinking about this the other day.
You gotta be quick. We're running out of time.
I'll be super quick. There's a lot of athletes that actually come from New Mexico that do put in the work, but we never hear about them. You know, that's something we should talk about one day. They go off and do great things in other states. Maybe it's on a small scale, maybe it's on a major scale, but for whatever reason, we don't hear about it. But those are some of the guys and girls that need to come back, talk about what they've done, so the kiddos that are looking up to them know that there is a way, regardless.
And you know, it's a great point, but let's jump back to what we were here for. You know, it's Cuts for Kids. Give us the dates real quick.
August 7th at Expo, New Mexico, which is the New Mexico State Fairgrounds, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can go online, dreambigabq.org or cutsforkids.org, KUTZ, the number 4, KIDZ.org for all the information.
And it's up there on the screen.
It is on the screen.
Have we got that? And then
my cell number's there. You can contact me if you need more information. Get on the website, volunteer. We need a lot of volunteers for this event because we're expecting a lot of people. So go volunteer. If you want to be a part of it as a sponsor, there's information out there on the website for that as well.
Well, you know, Kevin, again, great for coming on and keep doing what you're doing. You know, you can't quit now. I mean, it's just, you're in it, so just enjoy it. And thanks for coming on to Steve Davies.
Thanks for having me again, Steve. Appreciate it.